Good morning, guys. By the time you see this video, I would have already filmed it, but I thought to do a video talking about the Greek magical papyri, and this is my ankh in Kemetichism. It's my. So this video has been requested to speak about the Greek magical papyri. So the Greek magical papyri is a collection of Greece, Egyptian, a bit of Christian magic in here, and it's the last bit of the Greek magical papyri due to Christianity burnt majority of it. So this is the last remaining piece of what is left of the Greek magical papyri. Now I know some of you may be saying, Christian spells, it does seem to be a bit of a contradictory for me personally as a UPG. Whether other people share the same view, then I'll change to SPG. That when they burn a lot of the Greek magical papyri, that they were actually involved in the spells, their spell work, whilst they were also burning it at the same time, which does sound a bit of a contradictory. But I think that Christo-pagans might be interested in the Greek magical papyri from their perspective, because it does have Christian magic in, so this may be an interest to them as well. So I can recommend it for the people that do follow Jesus under Christo-paganism, and and which is totally fine. They want to do that end of the day. It's their path. So who are we to judge, really? But I just hope that the other Christians that are not Christo-pagans aren't giving them the grief that they do to a lot of people that are in Kemetichism, Greek or Roman religion. So I hope that they're actually living in peace with their path as being Christo-pagans. I can only wish that for them. But anyway, back on topic. So yeah, so these spell work in here, as you can see, I really wouldn't recommend a lot of the spell work in the Greek magical papyri due to the fact that you can get arrested, because the spells in there of digging up corpses and poisonous berries and things. So I wouldn't recommend doing any of the spell work in this book, but feel free to do it if you want to if you are interested in getting yourself arrested. But I personally, well, it's not really a personal thing. It's kind of like an all-rounder, really. Do not do any of the spell work in this book, that revolve around stuff where you can actually get yourself arrested. I do own a copy of this book, as you can see. And what I do is, if I come across a spell in here that's revolved around kind of, for example, like how doing a spell for having a relationship with Aphrodite, I do my own version of the spell, because I do Greco-Roman Egyptian magic, and I do write my own banishing spells, protection spells, cleansing spells, and love spells, and so on. And so if I see something in here, I kind of change it around where my spell work doesn't come across as like an arrestable offence, so I write it where, it's suitable for everybody, that everyone is able to do, knowing that you're not going to get arrested at the end of it. It's quite, it's okay to own, but just don't land yourself in trouble with it. If you're new to magic, and also if you're new to witchcraft, I'm not a witch personally. I just do magic that's involved in their religion, but I'm not religious. I I'm involved in religion. I'm not a political person either. So so if if you do witchcraft, and if you're new to witchcraft and you're new to magic, that's that Greco-Roman Egyptian magic, do be careful and do be aware of the safety regulations. Always study when you come into this new environment, especially with witchcraft or magic in general, because there are spells in there that that you're not able to do because it's an arrestable offence. I know that someone who was doing witchcraft or got involved in something, and because she didn't research what she was doing, she ended up dying. And and I just hope that that everyone's doing the research before, and watch all YouTube videos that will help you through, if you're a beginner in magic, that will help you through the safety regulations. It's also to stop you from getting yourself into trouble and also stop you from hurting others as well. So I can recommend this book, but please don't attempt to do a lot of the spell work in here, because you can actually get arrested, especially when it talks about bringing someone back to life, of having to dig up a corpse and things. No, don't do that. Unless you want to get yourself arrested, then go ahead, but don't do it. There are spells in here which you can do. There's also like protection spells and rituals that you can do, but always double check to make sure that it is appropriate to do. And there is also prayers that you can do as well, but please make sure that they are respectable prayers, so it doesn't go around angering the deities, and because otherwise you'll end up with a huge kick-off with people if they find it a bit inappropriate. So always make sure what you're doing is respectful, and also be appreciative to people that aren't hardcore. What other people would generally find offensive, they wouldn't, with them not being hardcore. So just always be respectful of other people's paths. Everyone's correct in what they do. There's no wrong in anybody. So I can recommend this book. I got this book from Amazon. I think it's also available on eBay. And let's just read the back of it so you get a basic gist of what it's about. So it says, the Greek magical papyri is a collection of magical spells and formulas, hymns and rituals from Greco-Roman Egypt, dated from the 2nd century BC to the 5th century AD. These fascinating papyri have survived not only the forces of nature, but the systematic efforts of ancient official cults to destroy such documents. This new translation of the Greek papyri, as well as Coptic and Demotic text, has been brought up to date and is now the most comprehensive collection of this literature and the first ever in English. So that was basically saying, that it has survived a lot. This is the last bit that has survived due to Christians burning a lot of the spells. I think there's also spells in here because there's also Christian spells in there. So again, for Christo pagans, if any Christo pagans are watching this, there's also Christian stuff in here. But again, do be careful that they're not arrestable ones. I just avoid those because obviously I'm not a Christo pagan, nor am I Christian either. So I generally avoid those. But just double check to make sure that they're not going to get yourself arrested. But you can always read it. It's good to have. You can always read it, but obviously some spells do not get involved in. And you can always read it and kind of interpret a spell that you could do. Say for example, say you wanted to involve a ritual, and the ritual in the Greek magical papyri say that you have to slaughter a chicken or cut your arm for blood and things. Don't do that. rewrite it in a way where, you know, where it says like to, like with sea salt, pink salt, crystals, you know, rewrite it so it makes it, you know, appropriate and non-arrestable, you know. So just make it, you know, appropriate, so obviously you don't get into trouble with the law or anything like that. So yeah, but it is a good book. It is good to have. So I can recommend it. I've had this now for about 2 years now, this book. And you know, I have seen a spelling here, and I did kind of write my own, you know, that came across as appropriate, and you know, that didn't that wouldn't have landed me getting arrested. So there you go, guys. Excuse me, sorry. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope this gave you a good introduction on the Greek magical papyri and what it's about, and what not to do with it, and what not to do, what to do with it, and what not to do with it. And obviously that goes for witchcraft and magic in general. You know, always be cautious. If you don't know, do research and do ask people. You can also join Pit the Pagans Discord. I will put a link in the description below for you to get in touch with Pit the Pagan, because we do have a witchcraft Discord page on there for beginners of witchcraft, and also that have been involved in witchcraft. We've also got the Greek Magical Papyri room on there, and we also do the Greco-Roman Egyptian, which can be involved in the witchcraft chat as well. So if you are new, don't hesitate to join. I'll put Pit the Pagan's link so you can get in touch with him. And join the Discord, and we'd be more than willing to help and support you in any questions, and in any new beginner tips of what to do. Alright guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to message me in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye guys.